Welcome back to ESPR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home for all your betting tips and expert analysis on not only boxing but a number of sports such as football, horse racing, basketball, a multitude of different events. So if you're a sports fan and like a bet, please check out the guys at sharpbetting.co.uk in the description below. It's me, Niall, just giving a quick reaction to what we've just seen this morning from Sydney, Australia, as the former unified world champion George KAMBOSOS Jr. has defeated the very game and tough Jake WYLLIE by unanimous decision over 12 rounds to leave himself one step closer to another crack at world honours at £140. It was a very entertaining fight. More entertaining than a lot of people expected this one to be quite honest with you. Of course, KAMBOSOS originally meant to face Dodd Jordan. Jake WYLLIE, the Australian champion, coming in on a week's notice. Less than a week's notice. Not heard of among kind of the wider boxing audience, but carried a big punching record into this one. And credit to him. He stepped in, took the opportunity, and gave a really, really good account of himself, even though he lost by unanimous decision. A couple of the scorecards kind of don't tell the real story of the fight, although it was kind of a decisive KAMBOSOS win. WYLLIE it was definitely a credit to himself in his performance, and earned a few new fans, and that one I'd be curious to watch Jake WYLLIE fight again, absolutely. But KAMBOSOS, he controlled the early parts of the fight well. It just showed the difference in levels, the difference in speed and footwork, hand speed. It just showed the difference in class early on against a very kind of one-dimensional WYLLIE. He led the fight, controlled the fight with that left hand, the left jab and the counter left hook, working wonders for George KAMBOSOS early on. But then it seemed to be a case of WYLLIE said, okay, that's the best you've got, and I've taken it well. He went back to his corner at the end of one of the rounds and said the left hands are nothing to worry about, and he kind of grew in confidence then. You could see him grow in confidence, as I say, saying to himself, I've taken your best shot now, I'm going to kind of take more risks in walking forward and kind of let my own shots go, So rounds 5, 6 and 7, WYLLIE really came into it and kind of pressed forward and landed big shots on George KAMBOSOS. And he does have a big punching record, 15 KOs and 16 wins before this. And you can tell KAMBOSOS was really feeling those shots. He shipped a lot of shots in those rounds, and you could tell they were starting to have an impact. He was never in trouble, but he was feeling them, and it definitely gained his respect. If he didn't have it early on, it gained the respect of KAMBOSOS, absolutely. And then there was the gruesome cut, just right beside the eyebrow, on the inside of the eye of KAMBOSOS, caused by a bad head clash, which looked like it was going to be a real problem. But he showed his experience, KAMBOSOS, in digging in. The cut man dealt with the cut well. KAMBOSOS dug in and got it done. Just was a bit too kind of sharp and a bit too clever for Jake WYLLIE in the end, and got it done by unanimous decision. But as I say, Jake WYLLIE surely earned a lot of new fans tonight. People like myself who didn't really hear of him before this fight. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but if Jake WYLLIE was to fight again on another card, I'd definitely be tuning into that. That was a very entertaining fight with George KAMBOSOS. More entertaining than we all expected it to be. So, KAMBOSOS gets the win by unanimous decision against the late replacement Jake WYLLIE. And the question now, I suppose, is what's next for George KAMBOSOS? As I say, he's a former unified champion, obviously at 135 at lightweight. He had that marvellous win against Teofimo Lopez, but he hasn't been able to kind of reach those heights again since, and now he leaves himself kind of knocking on the door of a world title fight at 140, and it's a very interesting 140 pound landscape. It really is. You've got, of course, the WBO champion Teofimo Lopez. Could be a rematch there. That'd be a very intriguing rematch. Give Teo a chance to avenge that loss. I know he has the Barbosa fight coming up in May, which is no easy task whatsoever, but if he was to come through that, why not do a rematch? You've got Gary Russell, the new WBA champion, who produced a masterclass to win his title against Alberto Puello just a couple of weeks ago. So that could be a potential matchup. If I had to kind of match Kambosos against them two, as I say, Teofimo Lopez is an interesting one because Kambosos has beaten him before, but there's been talk about how kind of unwell Teofimo Lopez was in that fight, taking nothing away from George Kambosos' performance. It was an excellent performance to get the win, and it's a win that's going to age better as time's gone on. If I had to pick at 140, Teofimo Lopez at his absolute best at 140 beats George Kambosos for me, and I think Russell will beat him as well. And then you've got the likes of WBC champion Alberto Puello, who was coming off a very controversial victory against Sandor Martin. That could be another potential opponent, or an in-house matchroom fight with Richardson Hitchens, the IBF champion, could be an option. Probably the most likely option, as I say, both being with matchroom boxing. And if you had to pick who you'd favour Kambosos most against if he was to get a crack at a world title, it would be either Hitchens or Puello, in my opinion. I think Kambosos could beat Alberto Puello. I really do, and I think there's no reason why he couldn't beat, or at least give, Richardson Hitchens a lot of problems. Kambosos is a very good fighter. This isn't meant to sound as a bad thing, but you think of Kambosos and you don't think of him doing one thing extraordinarily well. Ahead of anyone else, he just does everything quite solidly. He's not a huge puncher, but he's very technically solid. Quick hands, good feet. He's a very good all-rounder. He really is. He does nothing too special, but he is a good all-rounder. And yeah, he's had a strange career now. Of course, his only losses are to great fighters like Lomachenko and Devin Haney. But he struggled with the likes of a Maxi Hughes, which is was definitely an off night for him. But he's up at 140 now. Looks stronger, looks faster. So, as I say, if it is to be a world title next, you'd favour him against Puello or Hitchens. I think Hitchens is the most likely, with it being matchroom, but I'd have to edge Hitchens, maybe just being a bit too clever for George Kambosos. But if it wasn't to be a world title fight, there's a fight that fascinates me next. There's a couple of fights, but one in particular against Liam Parrow, of course, former world champion, and that'd be a huge domestic Australian clash, very entertaining fight. And I'd struggle to pick a winner in that one, to be honest. I'm a big fan of both men, and I think the winner of that one would surely get another crack at a world title. So I'd love to see him fight Liam Parrow next, or Subriel Matthias, of course. Bit of a bogeyman, especially with no belt on the line. That'd be an incredibly dangerous fight to take, but former world champion, and again, winner gets another crack. So yeah, a lot of options for George Kambosos following a unanimous decision victory in a very entertaining fight against his compatriot Jake Wyllie over 12 rounds in Sydney, Australia. Let us know what you think in the comments. What did you make of that fight? Did you have it closer than the judges had it? Two of the judges. What did you think of Wyllie's performance? And most importantly, what's next for George Kambosos? Can he win a world title again, this time at super lightweight? Let us know what you think. And as always, don't forget, please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing, follow us on all social media, and please check out, as I said at the start of the video, the guys at sharpbetting.co.uk for all your betting tips and analysis. Until next time, take care.